right. What is up, everybody? This is Mostly Baseball Mondays, episode numero uno. This is it's a Twitch stream slash YouTube video slash podcast thing that we're gonna be doing weekly. So yeah, I am Tyler Grace, Royal Grace, as you may know me if you follow me on here. This is my co-host, Sammy Needs. What's up, Sam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up?
All right, so we're just gonna be talking a little bit of fantasy baseball, a little bit of real baseball, a little bit of everything. Mostly baseball, though, hence the title. So we're gonna start out kind of going through our own personal league, kind of go over the matchups. We're gonna run through week one really fast and then kind of dive in deeper in week two. So we'll start out at the top here of the list. We got Konerko gets Kuntz facing Trust the Process. Two of the higher totals of the week. The leading scorer in Konerko gets Kuntz, and then the third highest in Trust the Process. Overall, good matchup. Jacob deGrom and Mike Clevenger basically went off along with Jose Barrios. Cody Bellinger was most likely the highest scorer of the week by anyone. However, Konerko gets Kuntz. I'm going to have to really be careful with that one. Takes the victory there.
Yeah. Trust the Process also led the week with 26 home runs. The next highest was Konerko gets Kuntz and Mookie Monsters both having 18.
Well, there you go. That is led by looks like 7 from Cody Bellinger. He had 97.5 points. That is that's really good.
Easily the most out of a hitter in our league.
All right, so that's a good matchup there. Actually, we'll talk. Trust the Process did have Nate Eovaldi go negative with a negative 3.2, 10 innings, 9 earned runs, and 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. And then also had Carl Edwards Jr. Go an inning and 2/3, 3 hits, 6 earned, 5 walks and 2 strikeouts, with a blown save going negative 6.45 there. And then Konerko gets Kuntz with no negatives there. So we'll move down. The closest matchup of week one by far was within 10 points here. Bunched Panties and then the team formerly known as Old Dogs. This is changed here within the last week, I guess. So Bunch Panties takes it 533 to 523. Was led, looks like, by Malik Smith. 8 for 32 on the week, 4 stolen bases. And then Old Dogs led by Mike Trout with 72.5 points. Mike Trout is really good. That's nothing new.
Mike Trout things.
Yeah, of course. Mike Trout's really good. Also had Trevor Bauer get him 57 points, but not quite enough. Bunch of Panties was pretty solid all across the board. 48 from Zach Eflin. But everyone just kind of was solid, didn't have any negatives. It was just solid all across the board. Got him enough for the win there in week one, which I'm not sure he was too thrilled about.
Yeah, he's very blatantly and obviously trying to tank, but he took week one, so
yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Tanking maybe it's not going well for him. So we'll move down to the next matchup. We've got two-time champion Judge Freddie's Hugs facing Surprise Tigers. our fellow co-commissioner in Surprise Tigers. Judge Freddie Suggs actually got negative points from Chris Sale, arguably his best pitcher, but still comes out on top 588 to 519. Had a good week from basically everyone else. Ended up leading his team was Garrett Cole, followed by Freddie Freeman, both with about 53.5 points. But everyone was solid. Surprise Tigers led by Javier Baez with 53.5 as well. But also had Eduardo Rodriguez go 8 innings, give up 11 earned, with 6 walks, 7 strikeouts, going for a negative 9.5 there. So that's what kind of shot him down. So two starts for him going negative. That's gonna kill you a lot of weeks.
Yeah, and looking at it, I think pitching was pretty close all the way around. I think the difference there was the offense. Surprise Tigers, his team only batted .230 for the week with only 10 home runs, 30 RBIs. Judge Freddie Suggs had 16 more ribbies and 5 more home runs. And that's where the difference is there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's crazy how close some of these stats are, within a whole week. But those ones that Judge Freddie Suggs won, just put him over the edge there.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll go to looks like the biggest blowout of the week, which is fairly unsurprising considering the teams. No offense to Slump Busters, but they're obviously not in a position to win right now. But they do have some young talent. So Mookie Monsters, Sam's team here, takes the win 732 to 449. Mookie Monsters pretty well went off. Was actually led by Max Scherzer with 74, followed by Josh Hader with 65. Slump Busters led with Pete Alonso, the rookie, going for 56 points. Also, Gleyber Torres 49. Jose Alvarado, the reliever, going 52 points. What a start there in week 1. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward matchup. Nobody really expected Slump Busters to compete this week or throughout the season. They're definitely in a rebuilding phase, but they've got some young pieces. I mean, Pete Alonso, Torres, Andujar, Seager, Jimenez. Like this team has a future. Walker Buehler hasn't been very good this year, but definitely has a future in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and then the final matchup of week 1, we had Wizard of Oz. Still sticking with the Wizard of Oz name, taking on Long Island Iced Tea Hands. Another team, another expansion team from last year, still struggling to compete. We've got Wizard of Oz with 601 to Long Island Iced Tea Hands 433. Yelich with 80.5 points for Wizard of Oz, leading the way there. Did have a -2 from Zach Wheeler that did not end up costing him. And Long Island Iced Tea Hands led the way. Looks like Andrew McCutchen with 44.5 points.
Yeah, McCutchen did have a good first week.
So overall, nothing too surprising in the first week. I'd say Bunch Painties getting the win was perhaps a surprise, but other than that, nothing too crazy. So we'll hop into week 2 here, and this is actually one week, Monday through Sunday. Week 1 was the extended, had the extra weekend in there to start the season. So week 2 we've got Konerko gets Kuntz against Slump Busters, which was a closer matchup for a while than than I was hoping for.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty close.
I was a little bit not nervous, but I was like, okay, I better not screw this up. So let's see. My team was led by Chris Davis with 44 and a half, 45 and a half rather. Low score Brad Hand with 4.27. Charlie Blackman with a 9. Jacob deGrom with a 12.1. Unfortunately, did not pitch well this week. Ended up with 12 strikeouts and 9 innings, kind of helping that score, but also gave up 9 earned runs in 9 innings. Not great. Moving over to Slump Busters, had a good week from Tyler Glasnow. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, giving 37 points. Followed up by Pete Alonso again, has been absolutely raking. It's a good thing the Mets called him up to start the season rather than saving him in the minors for contract reasons.
Yeah.
Again, not a surprising necessarily matchup there. I would have liked to score more, obviously, but it happens.
Yeah. I mean, win's a win, I'd say.
That's true. You take him where you can get him. We'll move into the biggest point differential here of week 2. We've got Trust the Process against Long Island Iced Tea Hands. Trust the Process with nearly a 500-point week, got 44. And then Long Island Iced Tea Hands only with 225. It was a rough week for them. Trust the Process led with Jose Altuve, 52.5, 6 homers on the week. Joey Lucchesi went negative for them, which is kind of crazy considering how high the score was for them this week. Long Island Iced Tea Hands led with Willie Adames with 40.5 points. Did have 2 people go negative. Jay Happ, negative 1.35. And Fernando Rodney going negative 3.94. So, yeah.
Herman Marquez, also very good. Nearly a no-hitter yesterday, but still turned in a complete game shutout.
Yeah, and just Trust the Process dominated in nearly every category.
Yeah.
Had 1 less triple and 2 less walks and 2 less hit by pitches, and that was the only things that they did not lead in this week. So just a dominating performance. Would have beat everyone in the league this week. So we'll move down to the matchup that was closer than anyone expected. We've got Mookie Monsters and Bunch Panties. Mookie Monsters would have expected to win this one by more, but they got the win 348 to 341. Led the way Alberto Mondesi with 47 points. Also had Roberto Ozuna give him 38.9 out of the bullpen. So it's a good week from him. Got a 0 for 13 from Joey Gallo. -3 from Freddie Peralta and a -10 from Josh James. So that's kind of where your team struggled there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Bunch Panties was led the way. Austin Meadows absolutely popped off this week with 16.5 points.
An unreal week.
12 for 22 with 6 singles, 2 doubles, and 4 homers, 12 RBI, 5 walks, and a stolen base. That'll do it. Did go negative was Michael Wacha at -8. Gave up 7 earned in 3.2 innings. And then Zach Eflin also went negative, giving up 6 earned over 4.
Yeah, I think Alec might win a few more games than he'd like to this year. I mean, I think he would like to tank, but his team's not bad, especially the offensive pieces he's picked up. He picked up Tim Anderson, who got him 32. He picked up Trey Mancini, who got him 40. Like, I think he's got a better team than, um, you know, to purely tank. I think his team's better than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would pick up wins against, especially like Long Island Ice Tea Hands, who is clearly in a rebuilding phase. Slump Busters may be better than what was originally expected.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be a competitive matchup, but I don't think it's going to be a pure tank at this point.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think it's a playoff team. However, I don't think it's a bottom tier team.
Right.
Kind of a middle to lower end of the league, I would guess there. So we'll go to Surprise Tigers versus Old Dogs. So I may call them. I don't know if this name change is official. I don't know. We'll see. Surprise Tigers takes this one 361 to 294. Led the way was Kirby Yates out of the bullpen with 41.94 points. Tommy Pham stays hot with 38.
Yeah.
I'm regretting letting him go, but it's okay. I'll live with that one, I guess. Let's see. Old Dogs led by Josh Donaldson. Wow. Also regretting letting him go at this point with 43.5 points. And then David Price with 28 had a nice start. 7 innings, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, no runs. Paul DeYoung also with a nice week, 10 for 23 with 39.5 points.
I mean, the thing with formerly known as Old Dogs, I mean, he's got a really good top 3 in Bauer, Nola, Paxton. But would they only get you 15 combined points for the week? I mean, you're going to struggle. There's almost no way. I mean, he got a nice lift from Price, but those 3 are going to, I think he's really going to lean on them if he wants to pick up some wins this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you cannot have that low of a performance from your starting pitchers and expect to win. You're absolutely right. It was a rough week from his pitchers. His offense was okay. Trout being hurt hurt him. I mean, he had 8 points in the one game that he played, which is very good. But if you only play one game, it doesn't help.
Right.
So we'll go into the last matchup here. Wizard of Haas, second highest scorer of the week, with 460 playing Judge Freddie's Hugs with 371. Let's see. Wizard of Haas led by Blake Snell with 66.35 points, 12 innings, 120 strikeouts. That'll win you some matchups. Justin Verlander had 49, 12 innings, 17 strikeouts, 4 earned. Offense, Mitch Haniger had 45 points for him, leading the way by quite a big margin there. But it was really the pitching that carried him through this week. Had a great performance from his starting pitchers. And then Judge Freddie's Hugs, Ronald Acuna had 55.5. Garrett Cole with 47. Didn't have a bad week overall. Did have a couple of his pitchers go negative. Chris Sale is still struggling with negative 1.5. Jordan Zimmerman went negative 6. So pitching may be a question mark there. But I'd say he's still okay, especially if Sale can get it together.
Oh yeah, I think he will be just fine. Especially if Acuna is still getting him 55 points a week. Yeah, it'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'd say when you got one guy giving you like, I don't know, what, an eighth of your scoring, I'd say you're okay.
Yeah.
All right, so so we have power rankings here. Now that we've gone through all of these, actually we'll run through overall standings real quick. Just kind of give you a rundown. So we've got the National League, quote unquote, led the way by Mookie Monsters at 2-0, Trusted Process at 1-1, Judge Freddy's Hugs at 1-1, formerly known as Old Dogs at 0-2, and Long Island Iced Tea Hands at 0-2. And then in the American League, KGK at 2-0, Wizard of Haas at 2-0, Surprise Tigers 1-1, Bunch of Panties 1-1, and Slump Busters 0-2. No real surprises there. Seems pretty straightforward through 2 weeks as far as the standings go. So week 1 power rankings. We'll just run through these real quick. There is
shout out to another league mate of ours, Alec, or NB Legend, as some of you will know him by.
Yep. That is Team Bunched Panties. That. Shout out to him. He put this together. We put together a spreadsheet that we've got rank by position. We've got rank by starting pitchers, rank by bullpen. It's very, very elaborate. So we'll just kind of go through. This is through week 1. Number 1 offense was Mookie Monsters. Ended up with 409 from the offense week 1. In the extended week. Very well done. Number 1 pitching was KGK. Let's see. Number 1 bullpen would be Mookie Monsters in week 1. So kind of overall rankings: Mookie Monsters number 1, KGK number 2. Number 3 would be Judge Freddy's Hugs. 4 is Old Dogs, formerly known as Old Dogs, I suppose. Followed by Bunched Panties. Wizard of Haas, and then Bunched Panties. And then Trust the Process, followed by Surprise Tigers, followed by Long Island Iced Tea Hands coming in 10th place in week 1. So week two has some arguable surprises based on past experience, past league results. So we'll go through kind of the same way. Offense. Number 1 offense in week 2 was Trust the Process. Had 280 points. Next closest was 250 from Judge Freddy's Hugs. Starting pitchers. It was an absolute runaway this week by Wizard of Haas. In all 5 starting pitcher positions, he led the way. So he had 197 from his starting pitchers. Next closest was 107. Absolute
oh my gosh.
domination from Wizard of Haas' starting pitching this week, and that is why he won on 100%. Bullpen, really good week from Trust the Process. Goes for 103 from his bullpen. Next closest was 68. So a dominant performance there. And then the total rank from week 2 going forward will have the previous week's total factored in. So the number 1 team in our power rankings right now is no longer Mookie Monsters. It is Trust the Process. It's the number 1 team in the power rankings this week. Followed by, and that is, let me make sure I've got this correct here. That is 1-1, Trust the Process, number 1 in the power rankings. Simply math, simply numbers. It's okay. Number 2 is Wizard of Haas. Helped out by that huge pitching performance. Absolutely, probably, deserves this number 2 spot after the week his pitching had. 3rd place in the power rankings going into week 3 would be Konerko Gets Kuntz at 3.54. I guess those numbers don't mean anything to you. I'm reading the numbers. Let's see. The next would be Mookie Monsters in fourth place. Surprise Tigers, followed by Slump Busters, who made a jump this week. Had a solid week there. Bunched Panties, Old Dogs, and then Judge Freddy's Hugs was before Bunched Panties. Didn't have a great week, falling all the way down to, looks like, 6th place in the power rankings. And then a pretty solid last place goes to Long Island Ice Tea Hands, which is not necessarily surprising, but that's where his team's at right now. So yeah, kind of our power rankings. Hopefully I can find a better way maybe to actually display those for next week, but yeah. Any thoughts that this week's power rankings are very interesting. I'm curious to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, having Trust the Process, who, if I remember right, did not make the playoffs last year.
That's correct.
Through 2 weeks, he does have the most points scored. Not even 1 point more than KGK, but he does lead. He also has the 4th most points against, so that shows a little unluckiness having a 1-1 record. But I mean, just going through his team, I mean, there's no real surprises why his team can't be one of the best, especially led by Cody Bellinger and getting a lift from a few solid pitchers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned him not making the playoffs last year, and then him also being unlucky this year. So our top 6. First we have the 2 division winners get the top 2 seeds, followed by the next 4 best teams, regardless of division. And Trust the Process finished 8th place last year with a 7-11 record. Went 4-4 in the division. He had the 4th highest points in the league and finished 8th. So he had a solid team last year. He just got unlucky. He had the 6th most points against. So he should have been sitting middle of the pack, but just got unlucky with the weeks that he gave up a lot of points, and when he scored a lot of points, and he just got unlucky there. But very easily could have been a playoff team last year. He scared me, even as the 8th place team, more than some of the teams ahead of him. But yeah, so he definitely is a team to look out for. Definitely, even though finished 8th place last year, cannot be taken lightly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we kind of highlighted some of the top players so far. Is there anybody, maybe on the waiver wire that you've got your eye on? Anything like that?
Yeah. So as I go through some of the top names, so the top 5 hitters are Marcus Semien, shortstop for the A's, Elvis Andrews, shortstop for the Rangers, Alex Gordon, the left fielder for your Royals, David Peralta, outfielder for the Diamondbacks, and Freddie Galvis for the Blue Jays. I mean, just looking at owning percentage, David Peralta is owned in 99% of Fantrax leagues. Andrews at 97 and Semien at 92. These are guys that definitely have a spot on a team, but kind of with how our league is set up and prioritizing youth, they're the outside looking in. They're all at least 30 years old. and some of the rebuilding teams that want him, and most of the competing teams already have a shortstop.
Sure.
So, but the guy I would most look out for is Elvis Andrews. He's been a contributor for probably nearly a decade now. He's averaging 6 points per game fantasy wise. That's more than anyone out here that I can see so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
He has been. Yes. Who? Do we know who dropped him? Because he is on waivers.
yeah, I picked him up for a second and then ended up dropping him,
Oh,
realizing I really, I mean,
sure,
Mondesi was my best player last week and didn't really have a spot for him.
sure. Yeah. I've kind of got my eye, and like you said, our team is set up so differently. In some ways, um, bench bats are not really a thing for us.
Right.
My team on my bench, I have two active players on my bench for my offense. Um,
Hmm.
so we're not holding a lot of players. If you pick somebody up, it's probably because you are in an emergency. You need somebody to start. Um, you know, a guy I'm seeing down here that's played well is Christian Walker for the Diamondbacks. Replacing Paul Goldschmidt has uh, is not an easy thing to do. However, he's averaging 3.97 a game. Coming off a game where he did go 3 for 4 with a homer. So maybe hitting in Arizona could be an interesting guy to look at. Another guy, Jorge Soler. Obviously immense power. It's a matter if he can stay on the field and stay consistent in that. But yeah, I love to see Alex Gordon up there. Nobody's taking a chance on him yet, but I'd say if he stays hot like he is, somebody's gonna swipe him up.
Yeah, yeah, I would think so. I mean, just looking at his past, few games, a few games ago, he had 15 points when he went 4 for 5 with a home run. Followed up with an 0 for 4, but came back with a 2 for 5, and his average is sitting at 360. And I don't know the last time or if ever, his average has been this high.
Yeah. Yeah, after the April 12th game, his average was sitting at 390, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
But looking at his last 10 games, he's got 5 multi-hit games over the last 10. I mean, that's just ridiculously good. And then it's got a 1 for 3 in there as well. And then a couple 0 for 4s. But I mean, that's just really good.
yeah, yeah,
He's been
absolutely.
excellent this year. It's great to see as a Royals fan. It's really nice to see him back. Obviously, elite defense. It's really good to see him playing well. Contract year maybe maybe a little to do with that. You never know, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's just one of those things. It's great to see him back on the field and playing well.
Right. Yeah, definitely. It's good to see that he does have, something left in the tank. Um, Last year definitely raised a lot of question marks, I think, offensive wise. He did win a gold glove. Defense is still spectacular, but, it is good to see him. He's a good guy. He's been the heart of the Royals for a while now. It
Yeah,
definitely is good to see him.
for sure, without a doubt. Was there anything else fantasy wise you wanted to talk about before we kind of go through and talk about maybe some surprise teams or anything like that as far as
No,
real
yeah,
baseball goes?
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So we'll start American League. Um, AL East has been a absolute runaway so far. The Rays are 12-4, 5.5 games up over Baltimore. Um, and then Yankees, Red Sox, Jays. Nobody really surprised to see the Jays that low, but the Rays have been absolutely dominant to this point in the season, and it's surprising to see them do this well. I figured they would be good, but that's crazy to me that they've been that good.
Yeah, um yeah, I mean, especially in that division where the Yankees and Red Sox are supposed to win 100 games and compete for first. Um, the Rays are holding their own, and not only that, it has a way better record than anyone in that division so far.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in, and 5.5 games is a lot, but it's 2 weeks in, but also it's 5.5 games. Like,
Yeah,
if they play just decent, they've already got a huge gap to work with. So as long as they don't slump really bad throughout the rest of the season, um, going 8 games over 500 already is huge.
yeah, they've played just about as well as anybody so far.
So we'll go to the probably worst division in baseball, the AL Central. You got the Twins at 8-4. Only have played 12 games thus far. Somehow. Uh, oh, I don't know what happened. It's fine. I got my screen back. Indians at 8-7, Tigers at 8-7, White Sox 5-9, Royals 5-10. Personally, I think the Indians are underperforming. The Dolphins should be way better than it is. Lindor obviously hurt. So once I get him back, that'll be a vital piece.
Yeah,
Personally, as a Royals fan, it's a good sweep over the Indians. I think the record is worse than the team is talent wise. I expect them to be probably last in the division, maybe fourth, maybe third if they really overperform. But I don't think they're a 5-10 team.
no. Um, I mean, I think the Tigers are worse than 8-7 still. I mean, and that's only one game above 500. White Sox are probably about where they should be. Um, yeah, I foresee the Royals passing the White Sox and definitely probably in that third place range with the Tigers in this division.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one to watch. If the Indians are going to underperform like they are, the Twins could absolutely take this division, and it wouldn't really
Hmm.
surprise me necessarily. I don't think the Twins are that good, but if the Indians are not going to perform how they should, then you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then AL West, Mariners got off to a scorching start. They're sitting at 13-5, just 6-4 in their last 10. Followed by the Astros, hot on their tails, 11-5, 9-1 in their last 10. So really, really catching up, making up 3 games over their last 10. Angels 8-7, A's 10-9, Rangers 7-7. Every team sitting at 500 or better in this division.
Yeah.
Um, I don't foresee the Mariners hanging on to this division. I just can't see them beating the Astros. The Astros are good top to bottom, and the Mariners are honestly probably still in a rebuilding year. They got off to a great start, but I just can't see them keeping it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to note that the Astros just swept the Mariners this weekend, so
Sure, absolutely.
um, that hot start might be coming to a close here pretty soon. But I mean, in this division, I mean, it's tough. I think all teams are average to above average, but I mean, looking at their lineup, they have a pretty good team. I mean, they went out and got guys like Santana, who was position blocked in Milwaukee, had a pretty good year 2 years ago. Brought him in, have a good year. Got Edwin. Um, got the pitcher from Japan, Kikuchi. I mean, they got some under the radar guys who are paying off early on. So, we'll just kind of see. Like you said, the Astros are a much better team on paper. They're already 9-1 their last 10. Like I think they'll overtake them here pretty soon and probably just run away with it.
Yeah, I agree. And so there's always the wild card. I mean, you got the Rays at a
Yeah,
750 winning percentage, Mariners at a 722, second best winning percentage in the American League to this point. So a wild card spot is definitely on the table, especially when you've got Yankees, Red Sox, Indians, all underperforming to this point in the season. So definitely could be a playoff team, but probably not a division winner.
yeah,
So National League, we'll go NL East first. You got the Phillies at 9-5, Braves at 9-6, Mets at 9-6, Nationals at 7-7, and the Marlins at 4-12. Very competitive division thus far. Phillies just a game, a half game up with one less game played, and then the Nationals only two back. Very competitive division. I think I foresee the Phillies taking it. But the Braves are good. I don't think the Mets are going to finish higher than third. But man, I could see any of the four, getting hot and winning this division, which is crazy. Especially that
yeah,
the Mets or the Nationals could, but wouldn't really surprise me. And
yeah.
the Nationals
And
rotation is still, led by two of the top pitchers in the game, in Scherzer and
yeah,
Strasburg.
yeah. Yeah, I like the Phillies and Braves in this division too. I think looking back on the offseason, these four teams probably did the most. Um, with the Phillies obviously getting Harper, but also McCutchen and Segura and Real Muto. Mets got Cano and Diaz. Nats did sign Corbin to their already good starting rotation, and I can't remember the Braves doing a whole lot, but their young core just keeps getting better, I think.
And
So
signed probably the best, most team-friendly contract in Major League Baseball history, in my opinion. Was that 8 years, $35 million for Ozzie Albies? That's an absolute steal.
yeah, I think it was even seven. Yeah,
7 years.
7 or 8.
Yeah,
So
$5 million a year for Ozzie Albies, who has already been an All-Star in his young career. That's
yeah,
that's absurd to me, but it's fine. So we'll go NL Central now. You got the Brewers at 10-6, Cardinals 9-6, Pirates 8-6, Cubs 5-9, Reds 5-9 as well. I like the Brewers in this division. Could definitely see the Cardinals taking it too. I think the pitching for the Cardinals scares me a little bit. I think the Brewers are a little bit more solid. I think the Cubs will be there in the end. They've really struggled thus far. I don't know what their problem is. I see the Cubs at least passing the Pirates. I think it'll be a 3-team race. Pirates could play spoiler, possibly. Reds are probably better than they have been, but still going to finish last in that division, pretty
yeah,
handily.
yeah. And I just think the Cubs have they've just kind of began to fade after their World Series win. Not catastrophically or noticeably, but um, they're just not getting any younger. I mean, they bring up a guy like Bryant. They got Rizzo, Lester. They brought in Hamels. They brought in Darvish, and those guys. Most of them were either in their prime or a little past it, and as the years go on, they're not doing a whole lot. Um, so I think they're still a solid team, but uh, I think a rebuilding is going to come a little sooner rather than later for the Cubs.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Especially if they're not competitive this year, we may see an off-season shakeup, perhaps. I don't think anything would be so drastic that we would see like a Bryant or Rizzo traded at the deadline. But if they stay as poor as they've played to this point, then you never know what could happen in the offseason. So we'll go down NL West, which has been a very intriguing division thus far. Padres sitting 11-6, led by kind of some of the young guns. Tatis has been pretty good. Chris Paddock, my boy. Then you got they're sitting 11-6. Dodgers 9-8. I really think they're better than that. I think they'll probably take this division pretty easily. May have a race from the Padres. We'll see. I just think that the Padres are still a little young. Still probably not quite experienced enough to take the division, but I think a playoff chase would be highly valuable for them. Then you got Diamondbacks 7-9, Giants 7-10, and then the Rockies. Man, the Rockies have been so bad. They're 4-12, and I have no idea why.
For me, I mean, you got the Red Sox at 5-9, the Yankees at 5-9, as well as the Cubs at 5-9. But like, besides record, this is the most disappointing start for me.
They've been so bad. They're 0-5 at Coors Field.
Yeah,
like that's their if there's any stadium that provides anyone a greater home field advantage, there's not one. It is Coors Field, and they haven't won a game yet at home. They may get it together, but to be 4-12 after 16 games, like you can't win the division in 16 games. But if you go 4-12, you're well on your way to losing it.
Right, and I mean they've got the offense. They've got Arenado. They've got Blackmon. Both have struggled. Obviously do not see them continuing to struggle. They're way too good hitters. David Dahl off to a nice start, gets hurt.
Tell me about it.
They bring in Daniel Murphy, gets hurt. I don't know. A bit of bad luck, I'd say, just a bit. But yeah, they just haven't played well. That's all there's to it.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating to see. I think they've got a good squad there. They just have not played well. I was really looking forward to see if they could compete at the top of that division. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're only 2 weeks in, so
we're early.
A lot can and will happen. In the next, 16 weeks. So plenty of time. So I mean that's not sure if there's anything else kind of left to go over for week 2.
Right.
Any kind of final thoughts?
Well, since this is just mostly baseball and not all baseball.
Okay, you're right.
Monday, right after Game of Thrones Sunday, I don't think there's a better time to talk about it.
All right, I'm just gonna throw this out right now. Spoiler alert! If you have not seen episode 1 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, just leave now. Just turn it off.
Yep.
Or if you don't care, then just stay.
Yep.
But yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just so good to have it back, and I like that they started off mostly, kind of getting the characters to meet back up. I mean, it's been 8 seasons since some of them have seen each other, like Jon and Arya. So that's what I like the most about it, and that's in a nutshell, in a few sentences or less, what the episode was about.
Yeah, a lot of callbacks to early seasons, like even from the kid, even from the pilot episode, the kid at the very beginning, climbing up on the building to see Jon and Dany, march in with their armies. was the exact same way that Bran did whenever Robert and Cersei came in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of those kind of like it's come full circle moments. Very cool. Sam had the best line of the episode, 100%. The king of the 7 bloody kingdoms, like, or, whatever he said. I don't remember the exact line, but it was just like, damn, like, he is the king of the 7 kingdoms, the protector of the realms, and all of that good stuff, as Sam put it. Like, it was just really crazy. And John's reaction was like, Sam, you're crazy. And then like it kind of like seemed like it sank in. He's like, this makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like he believed it a little quicker than I thought he was going to. Sam just kind of explained it all, and it seemed like he took to it.
I think the thing is with that is like Sam's his best friend in the entire world. Sam's not someone who's gonna lie to him, so he's like, if Sam's telling me this, it's true. No other person would be able to tell him and him believe it, but Sam's not gonna lie to him.
Right. And another thing that I thought was really interesting, John says, my father was the most honorable man I knew. Why would he lie to me? And it's like, well, if he was so honorable, why did you think that you were a bastard of, Ned and some other woman?
You're right.
And then Sam goes on to tell him that he didn't lie. He's absolutely right. Robb would have killed him the second he knew he was a Targaryen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw, of course, I'm like reading YouTube comments and everything after episode 1. People were like, oh yeah, like the fat guy and the crippled brother are gonna be the ones to tell John or tell the world that he's a Targaryen. It's like, how are they gonna believe that? Well, it's like, okay, sure, you have a point, but at the same time, think back to the Littlefinger episode when he got his comeuppance finally. Bran knew stuff that no one else would have known other than that one person. When he's talking about, he's like, you put a knife to his throat. Like, only Littlefinger and Ned were in that situation. Like, no one else could have known that except him. So I think that's how he's going to, quote unquote, prove that he is all knowing for, basically. So they're gonna take him seriously. So I don't think that's an issue. Dany's gonna be pissed though. Like, let's not understate how mad she's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is gonna be super weird for both of them to know that she's his aunt, but I don't know. I feel like John is honestly probably gonna be like, no, it's yours. Like, I don't really want it. But when the time comes, I think that as honorable as he is, I think he will end up sitting on the Iron Throne just because he has a commitment to the 7 kingdoms. He's the heir. That is how that works. And
so here's where I'm at with the whole situation. I think that you're right. However, they're already like sowing seeds of like doubt in Dany. Like, Sam didn't go down there just to tell him that. Well, he did, but like at first he's like, okay, like Dany killed my dad and my brother. He's like, you wouldn't have done that. Dany, or you gave up your crown for your people. Dany wouldn't do that. It's like he's already like sowing seeds of doubt. So that's gonna be interesting to see how they play that. But also, here's my final prediction. No one will be sitting on the Iron Throne because they are going to they're both going to live in the fight with the White Walkers and the Night King. They're both going to rule there will be no more Iron Throne. It is going to be melted down by the dragons.
Huh.
And that is my official prediction.
I like that. I mean, you know, it makes sense.
Her whole thing
John
was
would,
the wheel keeps spinning. I'm going to break the wheel, and I think that's how she's going to break the wheel.
yeah.
And I think they'll rule together. I don't know if they're gonna go the whole, incest route with it. It's a Targaryen thing. Like that's, but I don't know if they'll go that way. But I think they could end up ruling together, regardless.
Yeah.
Or they. I don't know. I'm not sure. I am 100%. On board with the fact that there's going to be no more Iron Throne aspect of it, though.
Yeah. We didn't have any major deaths. I didn't really have any deaths at all, really.
The one dude took
Just
an
a
axe to the
few.
face. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was actually a writer on the show. I watched a video of it, of inside the episode. It was one of the writers. It was pretty cool. One last thing on Thrones. Okay, two last things. That jump scare absolutely got me so bad. That was a great scene. Poor Ned Umber. I don't know why they sent the 10-year-old to go get his people when the White Walkers are coming by himself. First of all, bad plan. I mean, he's very dead, obviously. Yeah. Absolutely scared me. Great scene. But I did not realize when I was talking to you about it last night, no one knows that Jaime is the one who pushed Bran out of the window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Nobody knows that except, the viewers know that, obviously, but as far as everyone else knows, Bran just fell out of the window.
Right.
So I mean, Bran could tell them, and he'd be killed on the spot. However, I think Bran's actually gonna come to his aid, and be like, no, he left Cersei, he is here to fight for us.
Yeah, I think Bran is exactly where he was supposed to be all along. I think. I mean, Jaime pushing him out, then definitely a red flag, and paralyzed him. But he's exactly who he was supposed to be. He's always meant to be the three-eyed raven. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great Bran episode, absolutely great Bran episode there. He was excellent. Also, I have a Night King prediction too. So I have an Iron Throne prediction. I have a Night King prediction.
Okay.
Bran ends up. It's weird. Okay, so Bran ends up warging into the Night King somehow, and maybe not even warging into the Night King currently, but in the past. So Bran becomes present day Night King. And then ends up dying. Bran is not living through season 8. That is my prediction there. And Bran is going to be the one who ultimately, maybe not kills the Night King, but takes him down, so to speak.
Yeah, will play a enormous role in winning this fight.
And because
do you think?
Good.
Do you think the living wins? I mean, living versus dead.
I do, because I think the battle happens in episode 3, and then there's 3 more episodes. So
yeah.
I think the Night King is probably taken down in episode 3, and then it's Cersei and Euron, and then it's the battle for the Iron Throne. That's just what's gonna happen. I just thought of this. So if my prediction about Bran becoming the Night King is right, what if they make the Army of the Dead their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be interesting. Like, then they would have no contest
Oh, no, they would
in
do
taking
whatever
the
they
Iron
want.
Throne.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that George R.R. Martin and the writers of the show have an idea up their sleeves that no one has even thought of. Like, they're so good that like any prediction, I don't know. Like, and I don't know whether it's going to end bad or it's going to end good because I have no idea what to expect from them. I mean, they created the most shocking TV moment of all time.
Yes.
And
Because
they can easily do it again.
Yeah, they took the main character of the show and they killed him 9 episodes in. Just like that. Like nothing.
And then 2 seasons later, they killed his son and his wife.
Who
Became the
many
main
people-
characters.
Yeah, many people thought that, Rob was going to take the Iron Throne. Like, he's on his way. But,
it's crazy. Like, so, like this, the overarching arc seems to be, it's Jon and Dany. What if they die? Like, and they could because of this show. Like, it's crazy. And I think it's unlikely. Obviously, like, it's a Song of Ice and Fire. Like, the show is, I think it's about Jon Snow. I think originally I thought it was about Jon and Dany, but I think it's Jon Snow's show. It's Ice and Fire. It's Stark and Targaryen. He is Ice and Fire. It's not Ice as Stark as Jon Snow and Fire as Dany. He is Ice and Fire. Like, the show is about him. He's not going to die. He's already died once.
He will not die.
He's not going to die again.
Dany could. I could easily see Daenerys die.
I could see that. I would be surprised, but not shocked, because then that sets, then Jon had, like, he is the heir to the Iron Throne. Like,
right.
There is no contest. Like, he is Aegon Targaryen. He is, he is the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, and and then he's the dragon. He's got the dragons. Ooh, be awesome.
Yeah, because he can. I mean, like, he can have the dragons. He's Targaryen.
By the way, Jon did burn his hand in season 1, I believe. So he is not an unburnt like Dany.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw somebody was it's like if Dany tries to go Dracarys on him, like, he won't burn, but he did burn his hand in season 1.
Yeah. Also, I think that the smaller dragon, the ice dragon, will eventually fight. The ice dragon will kill that dragon, and then Drogon and the ice dragon will go one-on-one.
How awesome is that going to be?
Yeah, and
that's going to be insane.
Yeah, because I mean, all we really see is the dragons just kind of run around and burn people.
Yeah. We have not seen dragons fight.
No.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm excited for episode 2. We'll talk about all of that and week 3 of the baseball season next week. So yeah, I feel like that's probably gonna wrap it up unless you have anything else.
No, that's it for me.
All right, yeah. We said like about 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, we're over an hour.
I know. I just checked the Discord call, hour 10. Okay,
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll end the stream, get this up to YouTube, and yeah. So thank you for hanging out in the stream. If you're still here, thank you for watching on YouTube. If this becomes a podcast, thanks for listening. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Sammy.
Yeah.
That was
Thanks
that's
to
fun.
you.
I like this. This is gonna be good.